Right. So great to have you all here today. Got the dream team here with Jeff and Jenna. Awesome, guys. We'll give everyone a minute or two to jump in. It's good to see you as well, Kavya. But yeah, we really wanted to put this together. We're gonna run like a big webinar in January, but we're like, hey, how can we just hop on and chat with everyone here in December before the holidays, help everybody get a little bit of a head start on their remote job search into next year. I know you guys all know Jeff, of course, from the podcast. To introduce myself, I'm Ian. I'm one of the co-founders of Remote Job Fast Track, which is the program Beach Commute has internally helping people land remote roles. And then Jenna is also our star coach inside the program as well. So we're just gonna be hanging tonight and answering your questions. We got some really great ones here that you all submitted. And we should have a couple of minutes at the end if you have questions that weren't submitted to jump into anything you'd like answered as well.
Yeah, we'll do it just super casual. Like there's no slides, there's no heavy presentation or anything like that. Some people sent some really awesome questions that we're going to dig into, but we do want it to be kind of a back and forth. It's one of the few opportunities that we have to talk back and forth with you. Podcast, we're just talking into the void, and hopefully you guys hear it. But this is really cool because we get to actually have a two-way interaction.
Yeah. Happy to kick it off with one of the questions. Again, thank you all for submitting these questions. Wanted to tailor it as much as we could for you guys tonight. The first question is, what's the biggest mistake people are making when applying for remote jobs in 2025/2026? So Jenna, what are you seeing inside the program? What are you seeing as people come in terms of the biggest mistakes people are making?
Yeah. So hi, everyone. I find that this is even from my personal experience. If you are applying for jobs with a resume that is not tailored or applicant tracking friendly, applicant tracking system is often use the acronym ATS. That is like the first step of if a computer system can't read your resume, that is a major problem and automatically disqualifies you from that. On top of that, it's also if you are not going extra steps and being more strategic about how you're applying to jobs and also how you're doing outreach, if you are doing any, it means that you're not standing out from the other candidates. So a lot of you probably feel that if you have been active in applying for roles that you can see through LinkedIn or other spots that it says more than hundreds of people, sometimes thousands of people have already applied for a role in the quick time that it's been open. Really setting yourself apart is an important part of having your candidacy be seen, not just by a computer, but by the humans on the back end too. So it has to be a more strategic approach than just like Marissa says, I don't know if anyone of you have heard this say this, but like throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks. If you're just submitting one resume to different spots for a ton of different roles and hoping that you stand out, it might not be that you're setting yourself apart to actually stand out in the process. So what we do here in the program and as a community is really helping you think more strategically about how to stand out along the way.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jenna. And Jenna is a former HR exec for many years as well, so she's been on the other side of the hiring table. And I know something we've seen. I've spoken with hundreds of people that have reached out to help land a remote role, and the clarity, even before the resume, Jenna, I know you see this too. The clarity on, hey, like I have these 10 skills or these 3 different backgrounds. Like, what should I highlight? Getting super clear on that early on basically dictates the entire strategy for the rest of the job search, right? And without that one piece, we see a lot of people missing that step of like, okay, I'm going to go after this specific job title so we can have this specific resume for this job title, as opposed to shooting out in a few different directions, being a little bit less specific. Look, the reality is it's a really competitive job market these days, so you do have to present yourselves in a way that is appealing to hiring managers, and being really specific and showing competence in a certain role is something we've seen work really, really well too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's definitely about bringing the intention from the start of your search or even before you start doing things to plant the seeds. Then you get into career clarity, you look for the path that you're going to pursue, and then you make sure that you bring that level of intention into all the next steps moving forward and continue on a trajectory that like gives you a better response rate than what you're experiencing if you're just applying for a job randomly that doesn't match the path that you want to go down and not taking the extra steps. So Ian, yeah, I really agree with everything that you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just had a follow-up question from Elizabeth. She said, when writing a resume with transferable skills, how do you write
Mhm.
those on there? Like list it as your current job responsibilities with a literal sentence explaining how it transfers, or skill listed and how it applies to that specific position?
Yeah. So this actually is a question
What do
that
you think?
somebody else asked beforehand too about applying transferable skills, especially if you're making a pivot. You want to make sure the career narrative is applicable to what you're going after and also leverages the transferable skills that you bring to the table. So we want to translate experience into the business language of what you'd be applying for. So let's say somebody, as I have a client right now who's a teacher that wants to pivot into more like a learning and development role. So of course, the resume is going to be a little bit different and framed differently so that the career narrative matches the corporate structure of what she wants moving forward. So it's like my background of X gives me the strengths in A, B, and C that will help me land the role of Y. And metrics are always really helpful in any resume because applicant tracking systems in particular really love to read those. And so do humans on the back end too. But transferable skills are great to leverage in what you present out in the world, but making sure that that narrative matches whatever type of space you'd be moving into if it is a pivot for you.
Yeah. I think I know that question is a little bit farther down, but while we're talking about career transition, I'd say as a piece of inspiration to you all, a really common theme that I've seen in speaking with hundreds of people is you guys actually don't realize how many transferable skills you have that could be applicable to going remote. You definitely don't have to pigeonhole yourself into a career maybe you're not as satisfied with. Like there are always people skills or analytical skills or planning skills, project management skills that you can pull out and parse out and potentially chart a new career in a way that you maybe don't even realize. So I do want to give you that inspiration because I've seen that time and time again where people are like, oh, I don't have skills in XYZ. And then we have a conversation for 5 or 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, actually we have a lot of skills that are really transferable. So Jenna, I don't know if you've anything to share on that too. I'm sure you've seen that
Yeah,
inside the program.
absolutely. Big pivots are totally possible. I'm thinking of somebody who has built her career and she's been with the team. Well, she was in IT for over 15 years, always in IT, and now she's going into content creation and strategy. She's always been a storyteller, and she felt like actually that the career that she had been in before didn't match who she was. The values that she had didn't match her personality. Of course, she has an incredible professional background, but we're leveraging not just her transferable skills, but also the passion of how she wants to build her life moving forward to really make a big shift. And it is absolutely possible. You just have to go in with it with the confidence of, I know that the confidence part is something that we all exercise and grow that muscle up over time, and here in the community as well. But it really is possible to make a big shift. It's very much about how you brand yourself and the values that you want to pursue moving forward and how it will align with your next role.
Yes. That's amazing stuff, Jenna. Anything to add there, Jeff, before going on to the next?
Nope. Keep on rolling.
Great
We're
stuff.
good.
Love it. Love it. So our next question, is there a career sweet spot for remote work? It's kind of along the lines of what we were just talking about, but what about beginners or junior candidates?
That is a great question. And any level is possible for remote work. You will find entry level positions, internships at remote, all the way up in the hierarchy of an organizational chart. I will say that I find that the highest volume of what's posted and what I see in the listings of just checking regularly about the market, mid-level positions are the most common. But that does not mean that the lower level employee positions are not available and the higher. But when you think about it, if an organization has a hybrid model of offering people to be in person or hybrid and halfway in person, halfway remote, and then some are fully remote. Mid-level employees have the type of work that frames well into being fully remote. So I've seen in organizations that I've worked at before where they're like, we want our interns to be in person. Even if other people are remote, we want our interns to get first level experience with the community that they can in person. And then if you think about it also in the hybrid model of like the C-suite, if you have like a CEO of the organization in a hybrid model exclusively, they will be showing their face in office more often than somebody who is a mid-level employee. So the highest volume in the organizations that I've been in with hybrid environments is that mid-level employees have the most open, fully remote roles, but it still exists for junior, for entry-level positions, and also for the highest tiers as well. Like here, we have an organization where everybody is fully remote, and it is framed that way with every level of the organization. So you want to be looking for those type of, if you are a junior level employee or high end, if you want to be fully remote, you want to be looking for organizations that offer that availability for fully remote, and probably steer away, if you are a junior level employee, from the hybrid. Let's say like some positions are fully remote, some are hybrid. They might encourage people at different levels to be more in person if it's a hybrid model. But it absolutely exists upon all levels of an organization and in certain organizations across the globe.
Jen, are you seeing
Yes.
pullback a lot from the RTO pushes, where you're seeing a lot of
Yes.
the entry level? Is that the main, like, because people are making arguments that junior staff needs to be in the office more so that they
Mhm.
learn through osmosis. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but like kind of the argument, right? We're seeing some of that happen?
Yes, absolutely. I do think that the pandemic has really shifted the way that people think about remote work, and organizations that do force people to come back into office after being fully remote, they got a lot of loss of their employees and loss of retention, and then it will help them shape their organization to be more remote flexible moving forward. But I am part of a group of people that was fully remote in the pandemic. Then people started asking, will you come into office more and more? And it helped me make a shift in my personal life, because I wasn't going to return to office, and I framed my life in a different way to be fully remote. So I think that every peer, every client, everyone who I've spoken to who has been met with the challenge of, you've been remote and now we want you in office, it's like, it's never received well. No, people are not jumping up and down to go back into losing time to commuting, to being locked in a cubicle rather than in the comforts of the world or their home, wherever you may be. But junior level employees have also, if they were recent grads or had been working remotely beforehand, they've adapted well to this digital age of working and contributing in a digital capacity. So I do think that it's a skill that is even flexed in the more junior employees of an organization, perhaps even more so than the highest up of the organization. So being adaptable is critical in, I think, any workspace, but especially in the remote one. So if you are a junior employee who has recently experienced the shifts that the pandemic had kind of thrown at us without warning, you are probably all ready to go into working to a fully remote role.
Yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Jenna. And I think the funny thing with that question too is we do get that. You mentioned there are remote roles, of course, throughout organizations, whatever level, junior, mid-level, senior level. We do get a variation of that question many times, like, is this applicable for C-suite? Is this applicable for junior roles? And the truth is it's going to come down to strategy for sure, and executing on that strategy. But the opportunities absolutely are there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Amazing stuff, guys. And keep the questions coming in the chat here too. So we talked a bit about transferable skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've had some questions a little bit about tailoring resumes to each job. So I know we chatted briefly about that earlier. Do you have any additional advice or tips, Jenna, on how to maybe not get like burned out with that, or maybe to make whatever tweaks or tips that you would need to apply to multiple jobs?
Yes. So once you get career clarity and know what you're going to be pursuing, you want to have one solid foundation of your resume. And that's what we ensure here on the back end and on the team of fulfillment here at Beach Commute. But you want to have one baseline, amazing, well-structured, well-read by humans, readability, and also applicant tracking system baseline resume to work off of. And then from that, if you wanted to take the extra steps to slightly modify the words to make sure that keywords are being picked up by the applicant tracking system specific to the job posting that you're going after, you can do like a little bit of modification and tailoring, but you don't want to be overhauling your resume every time. It's going to burn you out in the process of your job search. If you're doing that, you have to think about, we recommend a minimum of 10 applications for jobs each week, at least here. It's great that if you can go over that. But if you think about it, if you are rewriting your resume at least 10 times a week, is going to be really discouraging to how much extra like weight that you'll have to lift every time that you need to apply for a job. What you want to do is make it more personal with small keywords, slight editing adjustments, and then also put the extra steps into the networking, the outreach, the cover letter, and make it more specific for the role. But you think about it and frame it as like you want to make it slightly more tailored, but you will have an incredible baseline to work off of if your resume is primed up for the career clarity that you will have moving forward. So yeah, if you are rewriting your resume each time, I hope you're not feeling super deflated from the process. And we're here to help with a resume rewrite expert, because I have done that in the past before too, thinking I should rewrite my resume every time if it is specific to different roles. But again, you'll have the clarity that you need of what you're going to pursue. And then the tailoring, slight tailoring is the safe spot of what you should be doing for your resume.
Jenna, there's a question from David.
Mhm.
He was asking about potential age discrimination on a resume. So I've heard that this can be, I know you're not supposed to do this, but in reality, that can happen. Are there ways to work around that with your resume so that you're not lying, but you're also not obviously disclosing something that could get you filtered out?
Yes, great question. And I myself have even questioned age discrimination when I'm a candidate. So some of the things for a resume rewrite is that we want to prioritize your most recent roles. Also, this is like a little bit of data that most people on the back end, a hiring manager or recruiter, at first glance of your resume, they're only going to be looking at it for an average of 7 seconds. So when we think about longer tenured employees who have been working in the industry for many, many years, it's amazing that you can apply that experience to your next role. And if there is bias or discrimination, that we hope will never be the case, but just to protect ourselves from it, you want to make sure that one, your resume is never more than 2 pages long, because the third page is always going to get forgotten about and not looked at. On top of that, you want to make sure that your more recent experiences are always at the top. So top heavy of what is current, what is recent, and what is the first glance of what people should see when they get a gist about your candidacy. And yes, some people do remove things like their college degree, if you have one. If it is far in the past, some people will not put the graduation date. I've personally removed it from resumes at certain places before when I felt like it's not needed. So there are little ways to make those modifications and tailoring so that you can hopefully minimize the bias that could exist. Again, we want a better world where this doesn't exist, and where somebody looks at you as like you're an experienced professional individual that can bring all of those wonderful years of experience to what you're doing. And if bias exists there, that probably isn't the right place for you, because those are crummy organizations. We don't want to be a part of them. And I do know that age discrimination is something that people feel, and I have felt it myself before. So there are small tactics of ways to kind of mitigate it and minimize it where we can.
Yeah, we definitely get that question a lot. I think those are some really actionable tips, Jenna, which is fantastic. So what we're going for here. Anything
Amazing.
else on the
I hope that
resume? I
helps.
know we had a couple other questions here.
Check. Resume. Readability is always really important. That is like the key thing. Remember, the key tip is too that only 7 seconds. 7 seconds is the average of what your resume is being seen as. So we always want to put your best foot forward. Chronologically, you go ahead.
Images in resumes? Yay or
Sorry,
nay?
Jeff, can you repeat that?
Images, pictures of yourself in resumes, yay or nay?
Images, no. Images off. We can have them on your LinkedIn profile, but it is something that is not applicant tracking friendly. So applicant tracking systems, if you have a really beautiful designed format of your resume, they're going to like disqualify you, because the computer can't read it if it's not in an applicant tracking system friendly format. And also your photos can kind of be just a disaster along the way of an obstacle. I'm so sorry. I'm sure that your faces are beautiful and people want to see them.
That's
But what
true,
happens
man.
is in the
Yeah.
system, if it sees it as an image, it might not be reading it as an image, and it might just automatically put it as a lower ranking. Applicant tracking systems can be really brutal as first glance, and pictures will automatically make it less readable for the computer. So I would say do take off your photo. We want to see all about you and your words, and we'll ensure that that's conveyed. And then obviously your LinkedIn is a great spot for you to have a photo and more about your personality and color and graphic and background profile picture too.
It's such an easy win. We hired somebody for a marketing assistant role a few months ago. Guy's great. His name is Nacho from Argentina. Amazing guy. But we got maybe 1,000 applications in 3 days, and I'd say 60% had photos in it. And if we'd been using the ATS, would have never seen them, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Such an easy win.
It is.
Huge.
And applicant tracking systems, the other things other than omitting the photo is if you have multiple columns and again, like a beautiful design, colors, the system is not going to read you well, unfortunately. So keeping in mind that your first foot forward is your resume and it is your LinkedIn. And those are critical to get your foot in the door. And so are the other steps along the way that you would learn about here.
Yes. And Jessica says, if I see thousands of applicants, I'm not going to bother. I think that's the issue for a lot of HR
I feel like, Jessica, you give me feedback here. You must be searching on LinkedIn. Does that sound right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I live on LinkedIn, unfortunately, and that is a disaster. The hit rate is so low for people there.
It's so true. And
I will also say, I should give this little disclaimer here. I know that some of you have reached out to me on LinkedIn even before this Q&A. Thanks for connecting on there. I promise that if you're part of this program, your LinkedIn would look better than mine. I have a very skeleton LinkedIn, and I tell all the clients here of like, yours is going to shine beyond mine. With the resume rewrite expert and LinkedIn expert, please don't think of me as a reflection of the product here. That is just me keeping it very minimum, but yours would be much, much better.
Right, thanks. We do have a program where we help people get hired and handle all of this stuff, LinkedIn and resume. I'm going to drop a link in there in case people are interested in learning more about that. I don't think I can tag it at the top, but I don't know. I'll put it in there once or twice. There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's a call. That's a call with one of our team members. We did get some questions, Jeff, at the end. We can hit on. We had some questions specifically about the program that I'm super happy to answer as well. And you know, you can kind of touch on it a little bit too. The next question is, you know, I've applied to so many jobs, I rarely hear back. Probably down to what Jessica just mentioned. Is there something more effective I could be doing besides just applying online? So that's a great time to talk about that. I mean, having that strategy we talked about earlier, of course, but potentially getting help. Like you could go at it alone with this, and I think a lot of you know, some of the people we talk to, it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years they've been trying to get a remote role. There are some strategies. I know we could probably talk about the backdoor method here as well, Jenna. I'm happy to let you shed some light on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll also speak to my personal experience with it as well. But the backdoor method is a less conventional way to think about your job search, and also taking those extra steps that I've alluded to beforehand of how to forge different connections. So first and foremost is not every job is going on LinkedIn. Not every job is going on a job board. So we want to think about additional outreach and being more strategic of how you apply for jobs. Because when you think about what's posted on LinkedIn, how many people apply to it? How many people apply to it that aren't even qualified for it? And how many people apply to it that might not be doing the extra steps to make sure that their candidacy is noted? The backdoor method is more about, one, your existing network, leveraging your existing network, but then two, making your network more expansive through cold outreach, through warm outreach, also planting seeds even before a job is posted, because once the job is posted, they're going to get hundreds, thousands upon applicants, all applying at the same time. And on the back end, when you are receiving all those applicants and need to filter through them, it's hard to see who is going to stand out. The system does help like rank people on the back end. But if you're already planting the seeds with the backdoor method in reaching out to companies that are of interest to you, having exploratory chats, like short informational things about, is this the right pathway for you? Is this organization a right fit for you? Is the role a right fit for you? Will help somebody on the back end of their organization, in the back of their mind, know that you've already showed an interest. So it's very much about kind of being ahead of the competition and or standing out from the competition in a high volume, oversaturated market with a lot of talent. So the backdoor method is also how I've received every job offer I've ever had was either through referral, through my network coming to me, or second or third degree connections coming to me. So it's really, truly a successful way to land a job. And every job that I've ever applied to that I didn't go the extra mile for, or take the extra steps, I've been declined to also in my personal life. So the backdoor method really teaches you how to differentiate yourself from the common candidates of it's just a high volume. And if your resume, let's say we're equivalent to somebody else's who is not using the backdoor method, not using less conventional ways to be standout candidates, then the candidate that doesn't take any extra steps is going to be the one that goes unnoticed under the radar. And then you, with the extra steps of the backdoor method, can be seen throughout the process, whether it's even before the job is posted or when the job is actively open and looking for people. But there are also job postings that aren't even posted on job boards. And this is a great way. This is also how I came into Beach Commute. I didn't apply for something on a job board. It kind of came to me in a way, and I came to it by using the backdoor method.
Yeah. I know Marissa talks about how 80% of jobs are never even posted on a job board, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think every single team member we have here at Beach Commute was found through the backdoor method. Maybe other than Nacho, Jeff, but everyone at Remote Job Fast Track, it's relationships, it's first, second, third connections, and that's how a lot of people like. It is risky for a company to hire an employee too. So having that having that connection, is huge. And I think one thing that Jenna said that really stood out for me is the unconventional approach, right? You in this day and age, like this is. Oh, what were you gonna say, Jeff?
Yeah. Oh no, finish your thought because I got something there. I don't want to on your feet.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're good. But yeah, so really just taking that unconventional approach, because it is arguably the most competitive job market in years, right? We're seeing layoffs across the board, many different industries. And what we've found is we have to go to different techniques. Like if we just continue doing what everybody else is doing, it usually leads to the same results. So getting a little bit creative. Inside the program, I will put this little plug. In addition to the backdoor method, we also have an option for us to apply. You basically have a dedicated team applying to up to 2,000 jobs for you every single month. So that I'll leave it there just as a little bit of a teaser. But the backdoor method combined with volume, I know it takes a lot to apply to even 10 jobs. So it's like, what if we just applied to 500 jobs for you next week, right? So the combination of the relationship building and just volume that really no one else is doing, it's another way to get yourself one step further. But yeah, what were you going to say there, Jeff?
Yeah, Nacho, the guy I was telling you about from Argentina, he stood at like totally unconventional. He sent us a Loom video, and basically he explained what he loved about the company, and then he taught me how to make matcha, or no, mate. Sorry, mate from Argentina, and I'm like, this is incredible. This guy's like way up the. It's the only thing that really stood out. I got to learn more about this guy, and turns out he was the most amazing employee. Incredible. So not quite backdoor method, but just very unconventional.
Unconventional. And dude, mate rocks, man. Mate is delicious.
I'm getting to it. It's growing on me. It's a bit of an acquired thing.
Yeah. No, I love that. And you mentioned Loom. I am the biggest fan of Looms, guys. If you're not familiar with Loom, download it. It's loom.com. You can film, I think, up to like 20 videos. It's basically like a video kind of like this. You can introduce yourself. Basically put a little bit of personality behind you. Like if you're doing some of this outreach or trying to build these relationships, I'm not familiar with Aligned, but yeah, Loom is literally like the best way to get your personality across in a sea of a gajillion resumes.
Yeah. I also think that Loom is just really helpful for anybody who's going to be working in a work from anywhere remote space that is maybe asynchronous. I have used it so much more here with my Beach Commute teammates because people are in different time zones and you want to screen share and share something with somebody who might not be reading it or listening to it live. Loom is like an incredible tool. I've enjoyed like implementing it here. And I have another client that I work for the rest of my business day. And I've been like leveraging Loom all over the place, not just even for applications. Like it's helpful to know tools that could be working, that do work for a work from anywhere remote space. So Loom is definitely one of them that I've carried over into other spaces now too.
Yes.
Plus, it eliminates so many meetings. That's
Yes.
my
Yes.
soul right there. I once had an employee. He said, "I'm going to write on your headstone, Jeff. Jeff, do I have to get on this call, Baker?" And that's it, man. And he called me that for the next 2 years. It started getting obnoxious. But yeah, a side
That's
note,
really funny.
can't stand meetings. They're great.
Yeah, literally Loom is the best. They have, I think they have like a Spotify Wrapped of Loom. And in my last role, I shot so many Looms. I was in like the top 0.2% of Loom users. I should like be a sponsored by Loom. I freaking love Loom.
You're a Loom
It is
ambassador, Ian.
so I really
And
am.
we're going to drop a Loom
for
affiliate
life.
link down here.
Yeah. Loom for life. So next question, and like we could talk on that one topic for probably the whole hour. Actually, the webinar in that we're going to host in January with Marissa will be around the backdoor method and some of these unconventional ways that you can land roles. But the next question is, what's the quickest way you've seen someone go remote right now? And I have a couple of ideas, but Jenna, what are you seeing inside the program that are getting quick wins for people?
Yeah, so I think approaching it in a different way than you have before. Obviously, that's what it's all about in being part of the program, is a different approach, a more strategic approach. Yes, an unconventional approach, and maybe also changing your perspective during the process. And the quickest that I've seen somebody land a role is in a couple of weeks' time, and it is somebody who had a trajectory of exactly what type of role he had done before. And he wasn't sure, he wasn't open-minded originally of what he wanted to do. And they just started exploring more of the resources. And within, I think it was 4 weeks time, but it was, I think, a little bit less than a month, had landed a role that he didn't think that he was interested in from the start. And then he became interested in. So that is definitely like the quickest turnaround of securing a role that I've seen. Most interview processes can take up to a month's time. So that was like a remarkable, like fast track process that I saw. But, sometimes it is about the perspective change and really thinking about your career search differently also, and also implementing the tools and resources that would be provided here. But that is the quickest I've seen. And Ian, I imagine you have ones that you probably know that are even less time.
Yeah. I'd love to take the chance to open your guys' minds to remote sales, because we've seen multiple people get roles like that had no sales experience in the past in the course of like a week or two. Obviously that was down to effort. It's not guaranteed in any way, but we found that there's this just like world of remote sales. If you guys want any additional info on that, episode 208 is myself and Marissa digging into this. Like, even if you don't work with us, it's an amazing potential path. If you've been like, hey, I would do anything to go remote. There are appointment setter roles that are not salesy, not Wolf of Wall Street, inbound leads that can make you sometimes 4, 6, 7K a month, and you can be fully remote. So episode 208 is where Marissa and I get to nerd out on that. But even if you've never considered it before, remote sales potentially could be, in terms of like the fastest way I've seen people going remote, that is one of the things that I've seen is opening their minds to sales and jumping in feet first. So that episode 208, check it out. It's a good one. I think, Jeff, that was our most listened to pod this year, right? Oh, you're muted.
Jeff, you're muted.
That was episode 208. Yeah. Did you know we get a Spotify Wrapped for our podcast too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was super cool. It shows how many new people are listening, and how many people are like obsessively binging over it. It's kind of cool. Yeah, let me. Awesome. I'll drop that. I'll drop that link in there to 208 for you guys.
Super interesting. Again, even if it's not with Beach Commute, if I can open and even one of your minds to that path, it is truly fantastic for the right person. If you just like talking to people and you're a relatively hard worker, could be a really great next step.
It's a hack that people are just missing out there.
Yeah, there's a whole world people don't realize. So it's pretty awesome. Does your guidance work for people outside of the US? So we got several questions around this, because we have followers from all over the globe. So Jenna, what do you think about that? About supporting people from outside of the US?
Yeah, and it's so nice that people are here live today from different parts of the world. And that is, I think, the best benefit of being here in the community is it is a very global, international, like-minded community of people who want more flexibility and to be positioned in different spots of the world, if not full-time. People are also looking at seasonal things, but we have, in the last couple of weeks alone, I've met with people who are in Africa looking for fully remote work, looking to transition and move to Europe full time, looking to travel the globe, position themselves in Asia. It's just a really remarkable team. And most of the organizations that people are looking for, if it is fully remote, we're not looking at only US based. People are looking for work from anywhere. International perspective is present. And those are the organizations that people want to target for that flexibility. So yes, it is definitely possible. And it is nice to be in a world in the workspace here that everybody wants to have more of a global mindset rather than just stay in one specific state in the United States or in one town in another part of the world. It is truly a global community, and everybody that is part of this community wants that flexibility to be somewhere else. So even if you are in Australia, I know we have somebody on the call today that's based in Australia, whether you're looking for work in Australia or elsewhere, it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I know Marissa's spoken for years about how, as a career coach, she's helped people from outside the US because the backdoor method, these methods do work regardless of what country you're in. Certainly we've seen some businesses will be limited for whatever legal or tax reasons in terms of being able to hire from abroad or not, but that doesn't mean there aren't those opportunities and for sure building relationships with your dream companies that is relevant wherever you are from in the world. And yeah, definitely keep us posted, Danelle. I'd love to hear how the interview goes. Great stuff there. So next question, how do I find real opportunities beyond job boards, and what's the best way to reach out to companies or people in roles I want so I can build real connections? A little bit of backdoor method if you have anything to add there, Jenna.
Yeah, so one of the ways that I say to approach this type of question is to think about organizations, whether they're mission driven or whatever they're providing. If it's a service, is it a product? Look for organizations that you're really passionate about. And through the backdoor method, start planting the seeds early on of I'm interested in working at this organization. You have target organizations. So as we've talked about here, there's options to have a service done for you to apply for thousands of jobs, which is amazing. And there are options of bringing the level of intention that you want to specific organizations and going the extra mile, embedding extra like little seeds before even the jobs are open. So yes, there is a very big like hidden job market, and most of the roles that I've been placed in myself are things that haven't been posted publicly. So we want to make sure that you're using the backdoor method not just for things that are on job boards, because there are job opportunities that might not even be a thought in the employer's mind at this time. If you presented yourself and said like, hey, I'm so passionate about what your organization, I'll use Beach Commute as a scenario. I'm really passionate about what Beach Commute does. I'd love to be part of the team. And these are the professional expertise that I have and the skills that I'd like to add to what you do. Somebody like Ian, Jeff, or myself might say, oh my goodness, we didn't realize that this was a missing piece of somebody that we would really value on having on our team. I actually do think that somebody on our team, Sid had reached out to Marissa, right, Ian? Of like, this was backdoor method that is here living in Beach Commute, working every day for approaching it herself. So it's not just about what's in the job boards. It's about finding the opportunities that might not even exist yet to open the door for you. And that's all through the back door.
Yes, absolutely. Anything to add there, Jeff? You might have something on this next one. I'm going to add a bonus question in because we had some late submissions, and several of them were around like, what are you seeing that's different today versus 2, 3, 5 years ago in the job market in terms of hiring manager practices? Maybe it's AI. What are you guys seeing? I know, Jeff, you're in the trenches every day. Jenna, what are you seeing as well?
Jeff, you want me to take it first?
Yeah,
You go
ahead,
first. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, you know what? One of the biggest things right now is like LinkedIn used to be a place to get jobs. It is. I actually don't think it's a place to get jobs anymore. I actually don't know what that hellhole is for the most part. Like it's just pure chaos, because a lot of what you're seeing right now, I think some studies are showing that up to 50% of job listings you see online aren't even real. They're ghost jobs, which can include a whole number of things. A ghost job could be the company just wants to keep their pipeline going full of candidates and there is no actual job behind it. It could be there's certain instances where they posted it just as kind of like a subconscious threat to their current employees. So just to make them think that they're hiring out from under them. There's been some where it's just to make it look like the business is growing. So it's just a pure optics thing. And then some of them are just scams. If you get I've gotten these strange messages on LinkedIn. This one person wrote me, of course, they've only got like one follower every time and no profile picture, or an AI profile picture. They said, my boss is really interested in your background. Can I have your WhatsApp number so he can text you? And I'm like, well, what's the company? Like, they don't tell me. Like, what do you mean they don't tell you? Drop me a link to his profile. I'll check it out. He's, I can't do that either, because it's all confidential stuff. But if you give me your phone number, we'll talk all about it. I mean, if I'm getting these, I'm certain the job seekers that have the open to work thing on there are probably getting those quite a bit too. So from what I've seen over the years is just a rapid increase of job listings that aren't real, job listings where people apply and it goes into a black hole. And more people coming to me saying, I'm applying so many times per day, hours per day, and nobody's responding. And I haven't seen it at that level before. And I know it's a buyer's market. It's a employer's market at this point, but there's just such lack of accountability to what you're actually, there's no standards for posting things. Nobody's regulating this. So people are posting anything and everything out there. And there's only a very small portion of them that are actually hiring real jobs. So I see a lot of people frustrated in the space. And until there's some sort of regulation about the truthfulness in what you're posting, it's going to be kind of difficult depending on where you're searching. So a lot of times I'm saying, if you do it yourself, use the Anywhere Atlas, go directly to careers pages, and maybe not so much relying on LinkedIn. And then use some of the Backdoor Method stuff. Go to their about page and figure out who's at that company. Do you have any second degree connections with these people? And work something a little bit different other than the easy apply black hole button on LinkedIn. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Go ahead, Jenna.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I do think, piggybacking onto what Jeff has said, that unfortunately, AI is great for a lot of things, and human touch goes a long way. So when we think about the Backdoor Method, your intentional human being outreach to people and personalizing things to say how you're passionate about their business, want to have an interest in learning more about what their role does specifically in an organization, it goes a lot way when they are thinking about all the systems that are in place and AI dominating the industries across the board now at this point. AI is integrated so well into a lot of organizations. It does make things very efficient, but it also loses the human capacity that we all have with emotional intelligence. And through the Backdoor Method, like Marissa says, if you have something in common, you see something on somebody's LinkedIn of they're also a yoga instructor and you practice yoga. If there's some sort of human touch that you can embed into your outreach, it can show that you're not a computer, you're not a bot outreaching to them. I do think that combination of volume for applications and the personal touch element of going the extra mile for your target organizations is really important. And I met with somebody just recently who's an HR professional. She's been in the industry for 20 plus years and has 200 plus employees underneath her. She said I wish that just one day of my job, I can stop talking about AI constantly because it is dominating the conversations. And I do appreciate the human elements of what I do. And I want to make sure that we don't lose that over time. So showing your candidacy and the fact that you are a human being who's passionate and interested in contributing to their organization can really be what makes you stand out in your job application process. So don't forget to be who you are, leverage the tools, AI, everything that we have here in the world and our evolving world right now, but to continue being embedding those human touches into your search as well.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's going to be the key. As the world goes more AI, the human touches are actually what's going to play.
Yeah.
And I'd love it if you guys have any additional questions before we wrap up. What we're going to do is basically share some more of like the free resources that you can access. Most of the things we do are free, as Jeff always says. And I did get some specific questions about like how the program works and the cost and all of that. So I'd love to highlight that for those that are interested. But before we jump into ways we can help you, both free and not, any other questions here in the chat, please feel free to put them in. All right, there's that question from Jessica. Chef in his restroom. That's your signature look, right, for the podcast.
I'm not in a restroom. Come on, this is a closet. Oh no, you've ruined my setup now. I'm gonna put bamboo back there or something. Will it still look like a restroom if I put? Give me some help here, guys. Give me some design tips. We're all helping each other tonight.
Do we have any decorators looking for work here?
Do we have a decorator? I might be able to put you on.
He's in the shower. He's in the tub. Yeah.
It's the normal. It's a curtain. It's a normal curtain.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
I love that. And feel free to let us know, guys. We have 74 people here, which is tremendous. Tell us, has this been helpful? Like, has this been some great info to help you in your search so far?
I'm reading through the comments outside of the curtain. Thoughts on cover letters? Yes. Do a cover letter. If for some reason it's not well received on the other end, or they don't want to take the time to look at it, they won't look at it. And that's totally fine. But for the organizations that do look at cover letters, we want to be sure that they go into your job application process. That is where you can put more of like your personal values and things that provide extra context of the contributor that you would be to the organization, and that you are aligned with their values as well. So I am for cover letters. I will say a very well-crafted cover letter, I think, goes a long way on the recruiting side of like the back end of who I am as a hiring manager. When I read a good cover letter, they stand out to me. Some organizations don't look at them. And I've been at organizations where they're like, don't waste your time looking at cover letters. But it's just a nice pro to have in there if they want to look at them. So think of it as like an optional resource most of the time, but it can be an advantage to you if somebody is reading them. So I say yes, personally. Jeff, Ian, do you have personal different takes?
No, you're going to be the expert on that.
Exactly.
That's why we got you here, Jenna.
Got a comment on here asking about filtering by jobs in the Anywhere Atlas. Let me see. Somewhere in here. I don't know, something along that.
Are there ways to search your database by types of jobs and not just perks?
Working on it. Thank you. Yes, we're getting there. We're actually currently in a beta testing phase of taking everything in the Anywhere Atlas and putting it into a live job board that automatically puts it into job categories, pulls in some Anywhere Atlas data and all that kind of stuff. So that is going to be upcoming. It's just a ton of work because the problem is most job boards are people post whatever they want. They come on and post it. Our job board, we only want to do it with companies that we trust, that we know are work from anywhere. So instead of just letting people post jobs, we have to just like crawl these individual 300 companies only, which is proven to be this, whatever. It's not that important. It's coming.
Yes, I love that. And that's actually a good segue, Jeff, too. Again, I'm getting questions about the program. I'm definitely going to dive in, and we're super proud of it. But I really do want to highlight our free resources for you guys. Anywhere Atlas is definitely one of them because we have such a passion. I'm sure you feel it from Jeff and Marissa every day of like helping people realize their dream of going remote. So we have Anywhere Atlas on, is it anywhereatlas.com or is it on Beach Commute site? So beachcommute.com. Yeah,
it's Anywhere Atlas. Yeah, anywhereatlas.beachcommute.com. We spent like 4 years. Well, we're continuing to add to it. Just like reviewing. I've read so many careers pages. You have no idea. Just reviewing companies and scoring them. We built a scoring system to make sure that they're decent companies that we're putting in there. And you can see transparent, like how we feel about every one of these companies in there. It's all very sortable. So I'm going to drop the actual link to that in there. There you go. That's free, obviously.
Yes. So that's free. And of course, the email, like you can sign up on the newsletter. Jeff and Marissa send out job alerts every single day, which is fantastic. And what else, Jeff? I know the podcast, of course, you have several years of podcasts available with tons of inside tips, tricks to go
We've been
remote
doing
and
that
what it's
for
like to be a nomad.
Yeah, we've been doing that for like 4 years. I've got a newsletter that goes out on LinkedIn every Wednesday. So if you're not following me there, we take a whole bunch of job listings that we research that week and review the companies and shoot that out. And then also we hand pick a bunch of jobs in that link that I just dropped, and we put it into this like really beta looking job board, but it's all hand chosen by us. So they're actually legit jobs, and that's free too.
Yes. Yeah, that's amazing. And it really is incredible how much work you do put into that, Jeff. And I know you post on LinkedIn, all those resources. So we want to see you going remote. And that is why we built Remote Job Fast Track, is over the years, Marissa has done similar programs with hands-on coaching. She's been a career coach for 7 years, helped hundreds of people go remote. So we built a program essentially around her system that has worked for years. And what that looks like in terms of like the steps, it's really in line with what we've been talking about today. So that first step is going to be career clarity inside the program. Many of you, even in the chat now, it's like, does it help us? Does the program help us figure out what we should be applying to? That's the very, very, very first step, because without that clarity, everything else kind of falls apart, right? We talked about that a little bit earlier. And then once we have that clarity, like at the end of a career clarity call with someone like Jenna, you would have an exact job title that you'd be going after. And then we would actually hand you over to Adam, who's our resume guy. He's been writing resumes for 20 years. So instead of banging your head against the wall with a resume, it's like, now we have just an expert, peace of mind knowing that this is, knows ATS systems inside and out, and just know that it's being done in a great way. And then it goes into, okay, the resume style, the strategy styled. How are we going to start applying to these jobs? One of our programs does include a dedicated team where they're applying to up to 2,000 jobs every single month for you. And then we combine that with the Backdoor Method. We also have a software. When we talk about doing some of this outreach to your dream companies, we have a software that will actually do that for you. It will like posts, it will send messages, it will send emails all on your behalf, literally while you sleep. So we've tried to make this basically an unfair advantage for you, because again, if we don't, you get the same results as really the masters right now. So we've tried to give you and equip you with every single tool, both in the expertise of Marissa's system, carried out by amazing coaches like Jenna and Danny, and just really, really impressive people. And then these systems where it's like we're applying to jobs for you, we're sending out these connections for you, and then we also help with interview prep and salary negotiation, right? So when you finally do land those roles, you are getting those volume of applications out, you're landing those interviews. How do we nail them so that we actually execute and get into that dream remote job? So that's like the overview of Remote Job Fast Track. We also have that program, the part of the program with the sales resources. So we have a recruiter that has over 200 remote sales jobs every single month. We handhold you and actually have a guarantee that we'll work with you until you land a role inside that program, if you're accepted into the program. So as you can imagine, having this level of support, handholding, one-on-one group coaching, all the tech, all of the team applying to jobs for you, it's not free. We do have payment plans as low as a couple $100 a month. We have some DIY options that'll be in the hundreds of dollars. These programs are not going to be cheap. I do want to be transparent about that, but we do customize a solution for every single person that reaches out. So I would encourage you to, Jeff, do you have that link to schedule a call again? So that link there, on it. That link there, it's a 15-minute call with our team, really just to explore if any or none of these options are a good fit for you. And if they aren't, we genuinely do tell you, and we give you some of these free resources. If they are, it could be life-changing. Like, we have had people inside the program that are like, I've been looking for a job for years, and this has finally been the breakthrough, and I've been able to land a role. I mean, we have countless stories. You can see them on Trustpilot, on our site, videos of it. Just is, it's unbelievably heartwarming and so fulfilling for us to be able to see people finally land their dream remote role. So like, you certainly could do all of this on your own, right? Continue utilizing the free resources. But if you are like, hey, you know what, line in the sand, I need help, I want to get this remote job, and I'm willing to do what other people aren't, then Remote Job Fast Track could certainly be a good fit for you. So at the very least, book through that link. You'll talk to one of our amazing team members, and they'll let you know what your best concrete path forward is, customize a game plan for you. That's the scoop. Anything else here, everybody? It's just a tremendous, we're hoping to do more of these in the new year, by the way. I know this is the first Q&A that we've done, but this is such a great way to be able to support and see you guys kind of face to face, not face to face, but at least in a live setting.
Yeah, if you guys want to give us some feedback, give us a thumbs up if this is something you would want us to do again. Give us a, can you do a thumb sideways if you're unsure? I don't know if that's a thing on there. We want to make sure, is this something we want to do, things that are helpful to people? So let us know. Is this, oh, that's a lot of thumbs up. All right.
I love this.
The people have spoken. Cool.
The people, that's a lot of thumbs up.
You can put a thumbs down. Nobody, you don't all need to, you know, nobody trusts a perfect 5-star review.
This is great, guys. I'm so happy to hear it. And yes, we will be doing future webinars. We'll keep you posted on that. We'll be doing future Q&As for sure. And we are running a sale on Remote Job Fast Track until the holiday, mainly because we want to encourage people to get rolling now before every single person in the entire world starts their job search on January 1st, New Year, New Me. So we are doing a sale through the holiday. But so happy to get this feedback here. I'm so happy that it was helpful. Yes. So does everyone have the link if you want, need? Everybody good? This was a lot of fun,
Jenna.
guys.
Hi, other Jenna. It's so nice to see names and from where everybody is in different parts of the world. So nice. Hi. It's been a pleasure to support your questions. Really, truly, always wishing everybody the best in their path moving forward.
Have an amazing evening, everyone.
All right. Have a good holidays, everybody. Look forward to hearing from you. You can write me in at jeff@beachcommute.com or hello@beachcommute.com. Ian, you got one? Where do you want people to reach you guys? Instagram?
Yeah, LinkedIn's great too. Feel free to hit me on LinkedIn. But yeah, please feel free to reach out, share your wins. It is just so inspiring seeing beach commuters get their remote job, and again, sometimes after years. So feel free to reach out with any questions, and happy to support.
WhatsApp. We're not giving out the WhatsApp. We already gave that to one of the LinkedIn people. That wasn't very good.
That was a mistake. I love it. Well,
all right, everybody.
Have a great night. We'll all see you soon.
All right. See